Old leather gloves, slapping in hands. Popcorn peanuts, we're working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick. He's chasing the deer that circle the lips. Play ball, play ball.
Then I'm gonna take a shower.
Roll up the bases and smack it right over the wall. Play ball.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Laughter Saves Live on Strong Island Television at Paradise Studios. I am broadcasting live today. I'm doing a COVID thing and staying home. I'm broadcasting live from Belmore, Long Island, in my basement, next to my Greek neighbors who are lovely, lovely people. And then tonight, co-hosting is somebody who is very familiar with me. It's my son, the good boy, John Jr. He has on the screen. He's not John Jr.
I just thought it would be easier to process and understand, so I did that.
You could have put John Vincent. See, I'm John Mookie Larocchia.
Yeah, what is that about? That's a really
my favorite Met player is.
No, I get that, but that's really stupid. It's like what a little kid does in elementary school, and they put like a name tag on, and they write like their favorite. Like it's weird. You're like a 60. You're like a 62-year-old adult. You got to stop that nonsense.
I'm an idiot. We're here tonight. We have on very big show tonight. Lou Gossett Jr.
Wow, he looks intimidating in that picture. That's crazy.
Let's thank Butch Seltzer for landing Lou, because Butch landed some good guests lately. In the last 6 months, Butch has come around after 5 years of doing nothing. Squat. Now that's not true. He did some good work, but he's got Lou Gossett. He got us. What's his name? Batman and Robin. What's his name? Burt Ward.
You really shouldn't. You should probably know these names prior.
And coming up, Bobby Valentine. So this is nice. I haven't seen my son all week.
Hello.
So I said, why don't you co-host and we could talk about things. How is my grandson, the Goose?
He is great. He just had his bath.
Good boy.
That's good. And he's getting ready for bed. Mom's being a trooper tonight and handling it all while I do this.
While you play. She's mad at me probably because you're doing this instead of putting them to bed. But I live with 3 women. Your wife gets mad at me. That's why I'm down the basement most of the time and figured I'd broadcast from here.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, go ahead.
What I was just going to say is I think the thing I'm most excited to talk about tonight with Mr. Gossett is he always has a very strong mustache game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed, but I am just dominating with the mustache game right now.
It is a horror. It is disgusting, your mustache.
No.
Lose it.
This is top-notch facial hair growth. It's Movember, and we're raising awareness for men's health with these ridiculous mustaches. But I gotta say, this is epic.
Do you notice, Mr. Mustache Man, that I am going like very, what do you call it, pixelated?
Yeah, I noticed it a little, but I try not to pay attention to you much, so I'm just ignoring it.
But I think it's pretty cool because I can go whoa, like that, and then you see it like a second later. I love that. I want to thank Irreverent Warriors. We had to bounce them tonight. They're going to be on next week. Irreverent Warriors. But I wanted to thank him. Very gracious, Nate over there. What a good guy. The mission of Irreverent Warriors is to bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to improve mental health and prevent veteran suicide.
Do you mean using humor and camaraderie?
I said using
humor and camaraderie.
What did I say?
You had humor and camaraderie. I think they would probably want you to say their mission statement, in proper English. Just saying.
And why would that change now? So I should say humor or
humor
and camaraderie.
And camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
No, you're saying camaraderie. That's not a word.
Well, the bottom line is they're a wonderful organization to prevent mental health issues on veteran suicide. We are doing more and more with them and organizations like that. We also had some nice discussions with Butt Check this week. You heard me, Butt Check, who deals a lot with colon cancer issues and organizations. And my mom had colon cancer, and so did one of the other gentlemen that are working on this with me. Why can't I think it's Butch. Yeah, Butch South's mom. I remember talking to somebody. Now it's coming around. So we're looking forward to working with them on a private show. We actually did a private show on Sunday with Bobby. Why don't you ask me about it, Sonny Boy?
How was that private show you did with Bobby?
It's none of your business. It was a lot of fun. Here's my take on this now. There was a lot of shows online where comics were trying to duplicate a comedy show. They had comics standing behind a mic with a backdrop, delivering this stuff. Sometimes they'd have people on the screen trying to laugh. A dog would be barking, whatever. My brilliant idea.
You don't have many. So
right. Was to do a COVID comedy show. Everybody's at home. Everybody's sitting on the couch doing Zoom meetings. So we just did it laid back with the comics stayed on the screen the whole time. We bantered. I like using that word. We bantered a little bit. And then said I'd do some shtick. And then the comic would do some comedy. Maybe we'd interrupt them once or twice. And it was a ball of fun. A ball of fun. And those shows will be available probably for around $10 for a donation to Laughter Saves Lives and some other organizations. So let's see if that works out.
I commend you for trying to make the best of a weird situation. And I think that, hey, whatever you can do to bring some laughter into some people's lives. See what I did there? What
did you do?
Your laughter saves lives. Whatever. I don't know. I'm tired. But anyway, I'm actually giving you a compliment. I think that was very nice. Very cool way to do things.
Well, we're trying to do things. I'm listening to my family and trying to stay, mostly my son over there, and trying not to go out as much. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not hanging out with 50 people without a mask on doing that kind of stuff. But I go out. I go, listen, I work out at the beach a lot or outside. I don't get to look like this just sitting around. So I'm out there doing my thing.
Of course, right.
And I'm not wearing a mask if I'm socially distanced outside, do my workout. When I go to the supermarket, I wear it. But things like going into the studio to do the show, I may step away from that a little bit because my family is saying, listen, you got to be a little safer. Things are cranking up a little. Let's get through the next few months. And I'm trying to listen to that.
Listen, at the end of the day, we all need to be responsible. And while you are, I also think that you're a bit ditzy.
We should use the word ditzy. Ditzy is not a good word for a grown man.
Sorry.
If people
well, I guess that's the manly way of saying it. And it's nothing intentional, but I think sometimes we're all accustomed to acting a certain way, even with all this going. And I think, you're a very social person. You're a social butterfly. You want to be around people. As do I. I'm like that too. But I think that we need to pull back on that instinct a little bit. Because the vaccines are coming. And
we're coming around the mountain.
We just need to hunker down a couple more months here and make sure that we don't make the situation any worse than it is.
When does an Italian from Long Island or Queens say hunker down?
Probably as much as he says Yuma and camaraderie.
I know. It's so funny. I teach nationally and I teach in front of firemen and cops. And I guess that's why I get away with it. But sometimes I sit back and go, I've been teaching for years and I'm an idiot. How do I get away with that? And you know what it is? It's the looks and the personality cover up for that.
Listen, as a third party, I could tell you it's definitely not that. It's definitely.
And I'm glad.
Now, if you had a stash like this,
oh my God,
maybe then it's about to look.
It looks like you have a circle, not a stash. It looks like a circle
you know what I got to do? I wanted the stash to go like this, you know. But the problem is my chin gets too dark with the hair. I can't get it light enough. So I need to bring this up just a little bit to show the separation.
Up to your forehead, bring it. Up to your forehead.
Yeah.
You know who we have on the show today?
Who?
Lou.
Lou.
Give me a famous line that Lou Gossett said from one of his movies. I hope you had one written down.
I'm pretty sure that he is known for saying, "Every time I think I'm out."
No.
Oh, no, that's not him.
No,
that's not him.
You didn't do the research on one of his famous.
Of course, I did the research. I know about.
What is his signature line? Give me one of his signature lines.
Not every actor has a signature line. No. I mean, he has a signature role. And this is something I'm excited to talk to him about. You know, an officer and a gentleman. He won an Oscar, Best Supporting Actor. That's something he gets talked about. And you know, another thing I want to really discuss with him is his role in recent HBO series Watchmen, which was critically acclaimed.
Yeah,
and I watched every second of it. I thought it was fantastic.
Did you really?
I thought he was fantastic. He got nominated for an Emmy for it, and I really would.
Don't get nerdy on me though with him. You know, try to keep
listen,
it.
That's what you brought me here for. You don't know enough about movies, and so you said, "Come on," because I know that you know this stuff, and I enjoy this man's acting ability. So here I am.
Allow me to interject, being an ass a little bit, while you carry the side of great questions. We need the balance. We need the balance of the Larocchia.
Don't you want other people to come on this show? Is my question. So
I have my son on. That's all I need.
Listen. If you
that's all I need.
Let me tell you something. You keep going down this road of making the guests feel like you're an idiot, and you're not going to get any guests, and you're going to be stuck for eternity in Facebook purgatory, getting John Santo and Pat Marone as your guests every friggin' week. Do you know what I mean? And you're gonna have
Gossett Jr. today.
You're gonna have Santo coming on talking about some sort of airplane. That's gonna be your entertainment.
Santo was watching, and you're insulting one of my friends.
I'm not insulting him. He's a very handsome gentleman. Well, that's a lot.
But now you're getting carried away.
You want to have the Lou Gossetts of the world, the Bobby Valentines of the world. You don't want to have, Pat Marone talking about his meatballs all the time. You know what I mean?
Wait a second. There's some good meatballs. Maybe we can get Lou Gossett to get a line today that he will use in his next movie that will be his signature line. How about this?
Go ahead.
Those Larocchia boys are fantastic. Maybe he'll say that.
Maybe he will.
Maybe Lou Gossett could say in his next movie, you know what? That fireman guy was awesome. Maybe he'll say that.
Yeah, maybe he'll say that.
We'll have to ask Lou. So now remember, as soon as we bring him on, we're going to talk about his movie.
Right.
Because we can get carried away at one point. This is how our relationship can go. Lou Gossett can be on the screen, and you'll say something that pisses me off, and then I'll start arguing with you. And 45 minutes later, we'll realize Lou Gossett was there also. So we can't let that happen. So don't say anything stupid. That gets me upset.
You just said you're going to say something stupid. Now, you're
used to me saying stupid stuff.
Here's my question. The famous song from that movie, of course, you remember, from Officer and Gentleman, his very famous role.
Oh, what is the song? What is the song?
It's when Richard Gere picks up Deborah Winger and
Can I try to remember?
Yeah, what is it?
It's an officer and a gentleman.
No. Isn't it?
I have the time of my life.
That's a totally different movie. No. Isn't it Love Lift Us Up where we belong? I think that's it. On where eagles fly
on a mountain high.
Ooh.
Bobby, is that the song? Bobby will play it low in the background if that's the song.
I think that's it.
I'm allowed to do that. Low, very low.
But But you have to keep in mind that Lou Gossett wasn't in that scene though, so I don't think he would really like that song.
He was so. Didn't Richard Gere pick him up and
no,
and
it was, no.
pick him up and they said nobody puts Lou in the corner.
No,
That's it.
again, you're mixing up some famous '80s movies. You're not. No.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we go to our first commercial?
Yeah.
And then we'll come back and we'll play a clip from Lou's new movie. The name of the movie is The Reason. And then we'll bring Lou on.
Let's do it.
Let's go to commercial.
Let's go to commercial.
I got my big cup.
Big cup.
Hi, I'm Michael Barish, managing partner of Barish, McGarry, Salzman, and Penson. We are honored to represent over 11,000 people in the 9/11 community. The people who work at my law firm can really relate to what the 9/11 community is going through because they're going through it too.
So my dad's name was Billy Gormley, and he was a fireman on 9/11.
My father also was a firefighter, and he did report down there as well on 9/11.
My dad, Alan, worked on the 104th floor of the second tower. He was an IT technician.
My father was a fire inspector.
My husband, his name is David Velez. He was a detective with the NYPD, and if I can help anybody that is going through exactly what I have gone through for the last 17, 18 years and make their life just a little bit better, then you know what? I love coming to work every single day.
You know, this is a genuine office. Like, people are really sincere.
The best part of my job is the clients. Every once in a while, you'll hear in their voice how grateful they are for the work that we do.
We take this personally, and we will not rest unless we help everybody we can before this victim compensation fund ends in 2 years. And we will be fighting to get this thing extended past 2020 because cancer isn't going to stop afflicting the 9/11 community.
You know, I can't say it enough when I watch the commercial, the work that Michael Barish does, and it just reminds me of what Laughter Saves Lives is all about. Everything we do is in memory of the guys that were lost on 9/11 and because of 9/11. Even this show, every week we do this show, we make people laugh. We bring on cool guests like Lou Gossett, and it's all in memory of our guys. So Lou Gossett, John, has a movie out called The Reason. The Reason is the name of the movie.
Yep.
And we're going to let Lou talk about the charity and all that's attached to this movie. But here's something that I've never said, and that is so cool that we're going to do tonight. Let's show a clip.
Show the clip of the movie The Reason. Lou Gossett.
Hopefully we have a clip.
And Tati.
I think that you have caused miracles. You fixed an irreparable cross, and you restored my vision.
I didn't do that.
Take it back. Yeah, take it back. I want to exchange my vision so you can heal Alex. I'm very grateful for the gift you gave me. But take it back. Exchange it. I want you to heal Alex.
James.
Yeah.
How long have you been a man of God?
All my life.
And you know it doesn't work like that.
Well, looks like our clip got clipped. Maybe we could put he is.
There he is.
Lou Gossett Jr. on our show. Welcome, Lou Gossett.
Thank you. Get down. Give me 50.
Okay.
You know, when I was, it's funny you say that. When I was a New York City fireman, right back in the day, you looking at me right now, Lou, you probably said he's probably still a fireman. He looks so good. But I'm retired 10 years, Lou, 10 years. And I could go down and give you 25, 30. Right now, I don't think I could do 3.
You ever do that football game against the police once a year?
No. I was the guy giving out popcorn, Lou. Lou, before what I was saying before is my son is on the screen with me today. He's such a big fan of yours, and he told me I couldn't use anybody else co-hosting tonight because he wanted to be here to meet you.
Yeah, that's right. Lou, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate it. I can't do it without guys like yourself.
Big fan. I wanted to get to your movie first and the charity because you know what it's like having an Italian dad and son on the screen. We can get into an argument right now, and 45 minutes later, we're going to forget Lou sitting there. So I wanted to get it.
You remember the Coney Island exit on the BMT?
No.
You remember the big newsstand?
Yeah. No, I wasn't a Coney Island guy.
Coney Island, yeah. The big newsstand was run by a family by the name of Rocco Sylvester.
Yeah.
And he was a very important man. And my father was trying to be responsible for taking care of his brothers and sisters. And they were all going to go to a reform school. So my father was adopted by Rocco Sylvester. So he could take care of his brothers and sisters, keep them in a reform school. So I didn't know who I was until I was 12, because the first dish I remembered was lasagna. So then in the 60th precinct, there was a French Connection. That was Eddie Egan. So we had a pretty melting pot in Brooklyn at the time. And it was a very great way to grow up, because we took good care. I went to the Rocco, the Lombardi brothers.
Uh-huh.
And one was the chief of police and the other was the head of the mafia. I could not go anywhere in the city and nobody would touch me.
Hey Lou, before we get carried away, my son starts asking you a million questions here. Tell us about this movie, The Reason, and the charity that's affiliated with it.
Well, The Reason is faith-based. It has to do with taking care of children. And we eventually, as tough as we might come from the tough families and the wars and stuff, we'll all hopefully get to the bottom line point that none of us human are ever in charge of this planet. We have this religion that's lasted longer than mankind. It's there for us to believe, and we have to prepare to get the proper message on a daily basis from whoever we call him, God, whoever it is, so that we don't have the pressure of making decisions about this planet. So we wake up in the morning, we pray, we meditate, and we clear the passage between us and God. This is my power. And I get a clear message. So I pick those movies, those characters, and those press things to encourage others to do the same. The more of us do the same, the less war we'll have, the less pandemics we'll have, because we'll all be on the same page for the benefit of all.
Love it. Love it. So this convoy of hope.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this and who it feeds.
Oh, it feeds anybody who needs to be fed. So it needs to be fed. It's kind of like a 21st century vacuum cleaner for hungry kids. Who's hungry, come, just like it was when I was growing up in Coney Island during the post-Depression.
Right.
So there was not a lot of food, but if my mother didn't get home at 6 o'clock for dinner, I'd have a choice of gefilte fish, lasagna. It depends on who was home.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody had a whole lot of money, but we had gardens, the greatest tomatoes. My father won the state championship of a 15-pound beefsteak tomato. He's also a fisherman with his buddy Georgie Terra, and he would take all the stuff and spread it around the neighborhood. Man, we were poor, but we were together. That was America.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna come out with the first question. I'll let Sonny Boy follow with the second one. I was thinking about this today. Like my son said, I'm not a big movie buff. I like a good movie, but I'm not a big movie buff or whatever. And when I heard you were going to be on the show, I'm like, I definitely know Lou Gossett. And, I was trying to think, being honest, what movies you were in. But the one thing I could say about you, when I hear your name, I want to see that movie.
I'm glad.
You know what I mean? It's not. I can't say, oh, Lou Gossett was in these 5 movies. Maybe I can't say that before I did some research, but I would say, ooh, I want to see that movie. You know what I mean? That's the kind of.
Yeah, it cost me every time I do that one. Huh?
Yeah, and you command presence.
Where are you guys? In Queens?
Long Island.
Long Island.
I grew up in Middle Village, Queens, Lou.
All right, and I grew up in Coney Island, Sheepshead Bay.
Right. I know that.
Yeah.
See, I did research on you. Did you do research on me? I researched you.
I was listening to you about 10 minutes before I plugged in.
I'm sorry. John, go ahead. You wanted to ask Lou a few questions.
So, I mean, I think you have an amazing, distinguished career, and the first thing I want to know about, just as a movie buff, kind of a movie nerd, you obviously have an Academy Award, and that is that's obviously so prestigious. And my first question is, what is it like joining that club? The people that have an Oscar, there's so few in that community, and we from outsiders as fans look at that and we go, wow, an Oscar, an Academy Award. What was it like entering that fraternity when it happened?
It was like a dream because according to the Academy Awards, if you can remember before that, if you didn't get an Academy Award and you were a movie star like James Stewart, John Wayne, and you did a movie that was not as good as the stuff you did in the past, but if you nominated, you were going to win.
Right.
This is James Mason's last movie, and this is Robert Preston's last movie. So I sat in the middle, but I think, well, I'm glad to be in their company now.
Right.
My agent hit me in the ribs. He said, "They called your name. Get up there."
Wow.
Out of my drink, I went upstairs and I shook Superman's hand and got the kids from Susan Sarandon.
Right.
I saw these people and me with an Oscar in my hand.
That's crazy.
I would
right?
have never thought of it that way. That's really interesting.
I mean, yeah, that's a very interesting part because there are, like you said, there are some people who, as they say, maybe it was more of a career award because they haven't gotten one yet, like you said. So when you're able to win out in a situation like that, that's even more of an honor. That's even more of it, and it just goes to show your performance.
Yeah, you ever see some of the old Oscars with Bob Hope and you saw Gary Cooper get his behind him, and then you saw some people that who Humphrey Bogart,
right?
Yeah,
15 Oscars because he raised me,
Right.
So that's what I thought about James Mason and Robert Preston. They should have 5 Oscars that year.
Sure.
The rest of you guys, this is ours.
I have a question now for you. That's why I'm here to ask you questions. I guess.
Dad, you don't have to say I have a question before you ask every question.
Maybe I was asking you a question and not him. I don't know. I want to make sure he knows I'm asking him.
I'm just saying. I mean, he knows you're here to ask questions, so just feel free to ask him. That's all I'm saying.
You see what I'm saying, Lou? This could develop into an argument. Then
does he get the drumstick for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, well, we live actually down the block from each other, so we will see each other from Thanksgiving. God help us.
Yeah. Lou, I was thinking about this today. Was there ever a role that you turned down that really was a successful movie or role, and you said, I should have taken that one?
Yeah, there's been a couple, but I just put them in the garbage. Yeah, I should have played in Ragtime.
Ragtime.
Yeah, I should have played that champion in Ragtime. And there's a couple others I should have taken.
Yeah.
I should have taken Quentin Tarantino and Samuel Jackson, but I didn't like cursing that much.
Right.
It was a beautiful character, but I didn't want to curse.
Right.
So, but it didn't feel good in the mouth to do that.
Right.
But more or less, that's pretty good.
But you know what? You have your standards, and you have what you believe in, and in a way, I feel like that will lead you to the perfect roles because that makes you.
That's what's been happening. I had a great grandmother who only lied to me one time. Yeah, this is gonna hurt me more than gonna hurt you.
I actually turned down a role that Richard Gere got, but I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You may be familiar with it.
I know Richie.
Yeah. So actually, now that with that amazing lead in there, what was it like working with Richard Gere? That whole experience on that movie how was that?
He was a consummate professional. He came in with it was the last thing on his contract with Paramount. And he looked around and saw Taylor, see us working hard to make this a special movie.
Mm-hmm.
He gave in, so he let me take his head, put it in mud,
right,
and push him around.
Right.
But in normal circumstances, the movie star wins that thing, And
right.
he let me. Well, he didn't have to beat him up. The Marines taught me how to do that. But
right.
He took his ego out of the part.
Right.
And jumped. He's unforgettable. It's an unforgettable performance of Richard Gere.
Yeah.
If that's the criteria, Lou.
I'm sorry.
That's the criteria. I said, if that's the criteria for your next movie, you can push my face in the mud. I'll be fine with that.
They're trying to find out the sequel, but it's going to be quite a few years since the end. So
yeah. Well, actually, that actually makes me think regarding an officer and a gentleman. Like you were just talking about how you felt with the Quentin Tarantino role, you felt uncomfortable, with the amount of curse words and stuff. So as a drill sergeant, now I know maybe there's not as much cursing as a Tarantino movie. I mean, that's pretty much established. How did
filmmaker? I have a great deal of respect.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's tremendous, of course, but I totally understand what you're saying. So then, how do you prepare for a role like that as a drill sergeant, that kind of role, that commanding role? Like if it's something that maybe isn't normally in you.
A different reason for the language.
Right.
So I have the beginning of Officer and Gentleman too. Richard gets off his motorcycle, knocks on the door, and the door opens and it's Deborah Winger.
Hey Lou, you want to hear something interesting, Lou? My dad was in the military. I wish he was here right now to meet you. He was in the military, and he said when he stepped off that bus, when he got into the military, and he stepped off that bus, there was somebody just like that character you played.
That's what I went down to Fort Pendleton, MCRD they call it, the Marine Recruitment Division, and I became, when I left there, I was a Marine.
Right.
I was just a DI, and I brought one of them up to sit with me, and we stayed together every day. Wow. I did this for them. They should have had the Oscar.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he said that guy was just like you played that character in his face. He was like, he grew up in Middle Village, lived with his mother, entered the military, and he gets off that bus, and that's the first guy he sees. Mm-hmm. And he said, boy, that was a real welcome.
And all the stuff you got to put in this box before you go into barracks.
Right.
All kind of stuff. Beautiful.
Great stories. He has great stories.
Ready for the next 20 days.
Yeah. We should say he's still with us. My dad said, I wish he was here to see it. My grandfather is still with us and is a big, yes, but he's just not here right now.
Okay.
Yes,
just because I feel like he's going to get mad at us if he sees that. My other question, another area that I wanted to kind of shift now to more recent stuff is, I have to tell you, and I know there's been a lot of accolades for this, but your performance in Watchmen was just spectacular. I mean, it was just out of this world. And that must have been a whole different type of role to play. Obviously, I mean, you got to work with the amazing Regina King, who is just unbelievable.
She was a child, yeah.
Yeah, and so what was that experience like? Because that was a big deal for HBO and all that.
It's one of those things that you don't remember doing them. That it just has a life of its own.
Right.
It's like I heard you guys are Mets fans. It's like Darryl Strawberry and Cleon Jones did home run after another.
Right. Yes.
You hit it. You're on the mark.
Right.
Think about it. You know the lines. You know the moments.
Right.
2 takes. I asked for the second take.
And she is one of the most gifted people in Hollywood right now. And what was it like working with her?
She's only just begun. I'm very proud.
Oh yeah,
she's a director, a producer, and very powerful, very talented, a very lovely lady. I'm very grateful to be able to work with her.
Yeah, she's got a new movie coming out this year that's going to be in the Oscar conversation as well, that she directed. So that's unbelievable. But
can I balance now? You see, Lou, I got this very smart son, so he asks very smart questions, and then I go back to asking like a really dopey question.
Well, it keeps the balance, Lou.
You need the balance.
Yeah.
So, and was there ever a time when you were in a production, something happened, and it's the kind of thing where like, oh, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about something that went on that was crazy that you didn't expect.
Oh boy, I have to think about that. There's so many things that I did.
You don't have to name names. or you could name names.
I don't know what I'm trying to think. There's so many different things. I've been around the world 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And I've done movies in the jungles and in deserts and stuff. And I've seen snakes and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
What about the worst accommodations you ever had for a movie?
Yeah.
Well, I can't tell you. I won't tell you the movie, but it was Quonset Hut in Australia.
Oh wow.
With poisonous spiders and snakes.
Oh no.
I finally raised my voice and I got a better dressing room.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not worth it at that point. Yeah. But I actually just not to bounce back and forth here, but just want to ask one more question about Watchmen.
Yeah.
Because I was just so impressed with that production. And obviously what was amazing was, how all the stories bounced around and then they all kind of came together at the end. And it was so well. I mean, did you realize the kind of cultural impact the book had and that world had prior to doing it, or was it just a role that you found out about and kind of got into, or did you realize what how heavy the material was?
I didn't realize until I got involved in it, and I didn't believe that HBO would have the guts to put this on, and as they're not repeating it, they're not continuing it. So some toes have been stepped on. But of all the shows, of all television, The Watchmen should be on every week.
Right.
With just a can of peas, and 6 million people watched that last episode.
Yeah.
So
wow.
And I've got question marks in my head. Why are they not continuing? And why did he walk out and say he's not going to do it anymore?
Right, he did. Yeah.
It remains for, I don't know.
Right.
But I would look forward, because that character, that history of the slaves, was introduced to us by Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte doing a movie called Buck and the Tree.
Mm-hmm.
And they were ones that when they got free, they went straight up to Oklahoma and they discovered oil.
Right.
And then there was a place where they put runaway slaves and stuff, and they became the wealthiest people in the town. And out of that society came a man by the name of Bass Reeves. I played Will Reeves.
Right,
and
right.
He was the most successful marketer in the West. So a lot of things that we've been lied about, maybe of the West, would be revealed in The Watchmen. It's time for us to get rid of all this. We're not anger, forget it. We just need to be together with the same story.
Right.
As a great country and a great people.
Yep.
No more lies, no more little bald lies and stuff. Let's get together like we do in sports.
Yep.
And win this championship.
You're right. And I think what Watchmen did, in a way, it definitely inspired that, because it inspires that kind of feeling, because it's a movie it's a show that comes from it obviously comes from this graphic novel, it's comic book type stuff, but it's such detailed, heavy, important material that when I was watching, I think anyone that watched it were so surprised and so impressed with what it was covering. You're watching and thinking, oh, it's just going to be this more like adventure type stuff, but it was so heavy and so important, and I really think it educated America in so many ways.
America up, it really did. It was very, I'd like to think that The Watchmen helped win Biden's election.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked, especially because of the subject material, especially how it starts. It's very
masks,
Yep. Yeah. It's very
great. He's so smart, my son, with these great questions, Lou. So now let me balance it out with my question. I've been thinking about this one. All day.
You're gonna ask him his favorite food?
What's your favorite color? I was gonna say. No, Lou. I met a deacon in San Diego last year in church, and I was speaking to him after church. And he lives in the hills out there in La Jolla. Beautiful. You familiar with La Jolla in San Diego? Beautiful, very expensive. And he said to me, he heard my accent, and he goes, where are you from? So I go, I'm from New York, Queens. He goes, I grew up in the projects. I think he said in the Bronx. Mm-hmm. And I said, wait a second. You grew up in the projects and you live in La Jolla? How did that happen? And he said, I made a ton of money on Wall Street, and I decided to dedicate my life to the homeless. And he moved out there. And he said, we get up every morning, we look out the window, and I say to my wife, how did we get here? I'm so blessed. I can't believe I got here. You were talking about growing up in Coney Island, and I'm sure it didn't sound like you had a lot of money, just like me growing up. How many times do you wake up in the morning and go, how did I get here?
Well, you know what? It's a very ironic question, because after the fact, I've been everywhere. I've lived in Beverly Hills. I've lived in Bel Air. I've lived in France, in South Africa. I've been in Rio. And my best time was when I was a kid in Coney Island. And we were together, completely together. So my favorite food is Nathan's hot dogs. They're not the same.
That's a great answer. Yeah.
Camaraderie is priceless. So my young people, don't go for the money. Go for the stuff that's priceless.
Yes, I bet because I bet you were the days where you didn't have enough money maybe to buy a hot dog, and it was exciting to save up and go, hey, let's go down and get a hot. It was like a big deal. When I went on vacation, I always said we went up to the Catskills.
Yeah.
And my parents never bought soda in my house. We weren't allowed to have soda.
Yeah.
We went up to the Catskills. We were allowed to have as much soda as we want. And they had a machine where you'd open the door and the Coca-Cola was stuck between these two metal thingies. So when you put the money in, you'd pull the soda out. It was cold, and that was a big deal.
I was at the Catskills and Nick's rookie camp. I was up there.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had a choice of either being getting splinters on the bench or going to a raisin in the sun. So I had more pocket than they had in the bank at the time.
Right.
Yeah. You know what, Lou? Can we break for a quick commercial? Would you hang out?
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. We'll go to commercial. We'll be back with Lou Gossett Jr.
Man.
Yes.
When someone is choking, brain damage can occur after just 4 minutes. Did you know every 5 days a child dies because of a choking accident?
My name is Art Lee. I invented LifeVac to protect my family. LifeVac is an easy-to-use suction device with a special one-way valve to help save a choking victim.
I care for my dad, who's prone to choking. Having LifeVac in my home gives me peace of mind.
Protect your family. Buy LifeVac now.
Thank you, Dad.
Call 1-877-LifeVac or visit lifevac.net.
And we're back with Lou Gossett Jr., Laughter Saves Lives Live out of Paradise Studios in beautiful Massapequa, New York. Lou.
Yeah.
So this has really been a lot of fun. John, do you have another question? Because I went blank. I had a good question and I went blank.
I do actually.
I'm sure you do.
And that's fine. You're getting older, Dad. It's okay. But what I guess my question is, you've been in Hollywood a long time. You've obviously had a lot of great acting roles. What do you make of Hollywood today? What do you make of how the business has changed and what's going on now? Like, where do you stand as someone that's been doing it a long time?
Well, the more kids you have the opportunity, it's growing up. The ceiling is off. It's very exciting to watch them make mistakes and you have hits. Don't forget the people who planted the initial seeds, because it has to continue from the old plant, the old tree, all the way up through the roots to the new leaves. You can't do it without that tree trunk. And every now and then, trees will start from scratch, and there's no tree trunk, and they diminish. So forget it. The full family, you father and son, don't forget one another. He's got a lot to offer you.
That's right.
Hey guys, just as a reminder, the movie is The Reason by Lou Gossett Jr. Released on December 15th. Each time the movie is rented or purchased, Convoy of Hope will feed a hungry child in the U.S. and globally.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
where is this movie? Where can we purchase this movie? Is this?
You can purchase it online as far as this evening starts, right?
Yeah.
So
and it's available on all the on-demand services and all that kind of stuff.
I've got 3 out, so this is the one I'm talking to you about, but there's others.
Gotcha.
The cute and then the foster boy and all that stuff. Got a lot of stuff coming out.
Yeah, great.
I'll tell you one last story about the lady who used to sell Avon products.
Mm.
She knocked on the door. You remember those days when a woman used to knock on the door and sell Avon products?
I do.
So this one day, this woman knocked on the door. A little boy asked her. She says, "Can I speak to your mother?" And the little boy says, "She's busy because she's in the backyard. She's making love to the goats." She dropped all of her stuff on the floor. She says, What did you say? So my mother, she's in the backyard. She's making love to the goats. She says, "Doesn't that bother you?" The little boy looked at her and said, "Nah."
You know what? Hey, Bobby, do we have John Santo in the waiting room there?
Oh, that's so funny.
We have Santo on. Lou, a good friend of mine, big Met fan. He's part of Laughter Saves Lives. I don't know if you looked up what we do. I'm a retired New York City fireman, and we raise money and we do shows in memory of my guys that were lost on 9/11.
Well, so you're ready to do the Ernie Banks thing. You know who that is then, right?
What?
Ernie Banks? You remember Ron Santo, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ron Santo.
Yes. Well, this, and he's a big. John wanted to come on. He has a question he wanted to ask. He was said, "You got to let me on. You got to let me on and talk to Lou." So go ahead, John.
I
and
saw
Lou,
Iron
this is-
Eagle when I saw Iron Eagle when I was in high school.
Gotcha.
And big fan. I've got the MiG-23, Israeli J-21, and the F-16 that you guys borrowed from the Air Force.
Right.
How was it? Now you filmed that picture in Israel, I believe, right? You had to film with Israeli F-16s.
Yeah, had a MiG and an F-16, and that's the greatest Air Force in the world.
So the scenes where you're in the aircraft and you could see the desert in the background and everything, did you film that in a simulator or were you actually in the real aircraft?
Both.
That's amazing.
They break you in by maybe making you lose your breakfast. So I didn't have breakfast. When I got down, I got rid of my supper. But the average is 19 years old. They can handle it.
Oh, all right. I remembered my question. It just came to me. We were talking about signature lines before you came on. If you were watching us, we were having some fun with it. Is there one line in a movie that you delivered that you love? Like, I mean, is there one line that you said, man, I can't wait to deliver this line?
Yeah. Only two things come from home.
That's what I put. I put that in the comments.
Did you?
Yes, I didn't know any. Could you just say one thing for me? Could you say from the tape that you played for Doug Masters in the movie? Maybe if I was you, I'd make a flat-out run for Helicon Air Force Base in Greece. That was my favorite line.
Oh, boy, I'm glad you guys remember that stuff. That's amazing.
I remember. I know every line. And I've seen
He's a steel trap. He's a steel trap.
Iron Eagle a couple of hundred times easily.
Pretty nice. This is a nice interview, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. You were great in that picture.
And Lou, listen, you know this is a big deal to John Santo because I've never seen him with a collared shirt on before. So this
and he did his hair. Did he do his hair? No, he didn't do his hair.
I did my hair. I got my model airplanes out. And,
what are you doing for Thanksgiving, Lou? What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Well, I changed my mind at the last minute. I had my son and my grandson. They were going to come and visit me at my cousin's house in Indiana. They were going to come here. And I don't want to be responsible for them to get sick.
Yeah.
So I'll put it on hold. I talk to them every day. And so I had to bite the bullet. And so
that's how we all feel.
Stop by with some food. I'm not going anywhere. So this is why I'm staying home on these days. Right? So I'm preparing to do my next work. My next movie contractually is with Pierce Brosnan. And we're going to do something about the two veterans from Normandy. But
listen, if you need somebody to push their face in the mud, I'm available. Lou, thank you so much. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
really appreciate it, Lou. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, buddy.
Enjoy
Thank you.
Lou Gossett Jr., people.
Happy holidays.
Same to you, man, and many more.
Happy Thanksgiving.
What a gentleman from Coney Island, and now look at him. Coney Island. I was from Middle Village, and I'm still here. But Lou went right to the top.
Yeah, that's right.
Later, brother.
Enjoy your holidays, Lou.
Happy holidays.
Wow, what a guy.
Awesome. Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Do we have Darren Dillon in the room there, or did we ever get connected with Darren? Let's see. Never?
He was here and then he disappeared, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, Bobby, I think at this point now, I think it's decided that you can't come on unless you have an Oscar now. So,
wow.
Sorry, Darren. Sorry, Darren.
That was great, man.
Great.
All right, so John Santo, we were bringing Darren Dillon on to close with some yucks. Do you have any yucks first? Do you have any?
No, that's impossible. You got the wrong guy then. Sorry, Santo.
We can bring Lou Gossett back.
At least I knew the lines. You don't know Louis Gossett Jr. movie lines?
No, I knew
so
that
many lines.
No, I knew that line, John. I was avoiding it.
I actually didn't hear the line. What was the line? I didn't hear what you said.
We can't say it on here.
We can't?
Not really.
Why?
The line that
we could
bleep it.
That was what the line was in 82. The movie was made in 82. We're not going to apply today's standard to that. That was a great line in the movie.
What was the line? Tell me the line. I didn't hear the line.
Only 2 things come out of Oklahoma, and it makes a reference to gay people. But back then, that's what it was.
But he said, yeah, he says something and something else. But it's a great. I mean, it is a famous line.
But you know what? Great line. There's so many great lines. Like even that one. I mean, there's so many Louis Gossett Jr. movie lines. Like when he tells him to keep his big mouth shut.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
there's a great.
There's a lot from Officer and Gentleman in itself. I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah. What I'm saying is, you were kidding around. You said you can't handle the truth. I know that's not his line, but everybody knows that line. Lou Gossett is a great actor, and he has many great roles. But I'm saying, is there a line where people go, "Oh, Lou Gossett Jr."?
I mean, I think the one that John referenced is probably one because it's his most. I would think that Lou Gossett probably would say that's his most famous role. He won an Oscar for it, so I think that, yeah, probably that line. But I mean, listen, there's a lot of famous actors. I mean, that don't have the line. You know, those lines that you reference, where it's like you say them and you instantly, you know, those are far and few between. Not every great actor has the line. I mean, I don't think, but.
Well, he had great lines in Iron Eagle too. He's like, you know, he goes, "Whatever happens, we tried, and no one can take that away from us."
No,
like thumbs up. I mean, that was a great line.
No, but that's a great.
First of all, you didn't see Iron Eagle. Iron Eagle is a cult following of people of my generation. The soundtrack, the lines, people do that. They even had that in Cobra Kai. When
did you see the Watchmen?
I mean,
John,
from the 80s loved that movie.
John, this is funny. This reminds me of spring training. How many Johns do we have? 5 Johns?
Yeah.
5 Johns.
And I didn't realize it until I went up to somebody and I said, "How you doing?" "Yeah, here's what I got with me. I got John." I said, John. And the person said, "Stop, come on." I go, "They're all Johns." I didn't see The Watchmen yet. I'm going to watch that. Where is it? What is that on?
It was an HBO limited series, so it's on HBO. It's definitely a little different than the things you usually like, but I highly recommend it because it's
he's in it.
It's okay. So he's in it. It was graphic novels. I'm probably not describing it right, and it's a very, very beloved piece of literature in a way, right? Their fans are very passionate about it, and they made a movie about it. Okay.
The movie was great.
In the 2000s, I think Zack Snyder directed it, and it was based on the book. And some people loved it. Some diehard fans were iffy on it. I liked it. John just said he liked it. But what this series does is essentially takes place in the same universe, but it's not a retelling of the book, but it like all with it, and it kind of connects to modern day also. And it was just it has an interesting twist. It's unique. It's very different, and it was so well done. And the same guy, like I'm a big fan of Lost, and Damon Lindelof wrote and produced it, and he did Watchmen. And so it has a lot of, you know, there's a great cast. Jeremy Irons, like I mentioned, Regina King, who also won an Emmy for it. Jean Smart was in it. She got nominated for an Emmy. I mean,
did you like my question? What was your favorite color?
No, that was terrible.
I was thinking of that all week, that question.
Hey, John Jr., the Watchmen, I saw the movie. I haven't seen the series. I don't have HBO anymore, but the Watchmen series, is Nixon still the president in 1985 like he was in the movie?
Yeah, yes. He's not. It takes place in modern, like it takes place now, but that history all still kept in place.
So Nixon was the president in 85.
Yeah. We see a blank screen. There's somebody there. We can't see who it is though.
I just wanted to.
Everybody. Good night.
There needed to be something besides a John on the screen.
Hey, Butch, what's your favorite color? I thought of that was all day. That question, Butch.
Amazing. That was a great question.
Great
Right now, my favorite colors are black and gold.
Oh, I don't know the Steelers. Yeah,
they have a Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Jets
are you from Pittsburgh originally, Butch?
No, I did. I started playing football when I was 5.5 years old. That was 1972. The Jets stunk, the Giants stunk, and there were the Steelers. So that was it.
Hey, listen,
one of these guys that roots for a team 1,000 miles away.
And by the way, and then what's amazing is Butch stopped playing football when he was 5 3/4. So it was,
Butch did a great job getting Lou Gossett.
Yes, good job.
And let me tell you something. He was down to earth.
Oh, what a nice guy.
A regular guy.
What a nice guy.
He seemed like he would stay on for an hour, but I knew that I would probably ask a stupid question coming up really soon.
It was coming. I felt it coming.
Wait, you thought they were?
I wasn't at all embarrassed. I'm proud of you.
Lou Gossett Jr. was on the show.
You thought that you thought that the stupid questions were coming? You didn't listen to yourself talk for the whole time?
All right, listen. Hey, Bobby, do we got to get going?
Yeah,
Bobby's not in. He's not at the mic right now, so I think we're okay.
How do you know that?
Because I can see. Look down.
Now, John Larocchia Jr.
Where do you see that? Where do you see that?
Phenomenal job referencing all the different movies. I give you kudos for that interview. You did a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was very excited to come on.
What about John Mookie?
And thank you for letting me ask my legal question. That was a thrill.
What about John Mookie Larocchia?
No, that's stupid.
Coach, great job tonight.
Why? Mookie Wilson's like one of my favorite Mets. That's awesome.
Oh, wait, hold on a minute. I know we got to go. I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. I'm gonna have Santo get real mad at you. You ready?
Yeah.
I came into possession of a Mookie Wilson signed baseball. I was a friend of mine, met him at an event, signed it, and she gave it to me because she knew it was Miffin. And who's his favorite player? Oh, so I said, Dad, I want you to have this. It's your favorite player.
Yes.
And he said, nah.
No, you know why? Oh, we're losing you. We're losing you. Can you guys
Larocchia Jr., I'm about to propose a trade.
All right.
Cheers, Bobby.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was getting the other show ready, and yes, we do got to get them on. So sorry about that, guys.
All right, no problem.
Gotta wrap it up.
Great job tonight, Butch. Great job tonight.
Text me.
John Santo, thanks for chiming in. Darren Dillon, sorry you couldn't get on. We'll get you on next week. Good night, everybody. Good night, Lou Gossett.
Good night. Stay safe. Wear a friggin' mask.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
We're going to the diner.
Leather gloves, we're slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts, we're working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick. Was chasing the deer that circle the lips. Play ball, play ball. Roll up the bases and smack it right over the wall. Play ball. Play ball.